you.
Nice.
Okay,
And
we're
it's a
gonna
two-door?
call the meeting to order.
Oh.
Everyone ready?
Didn't even know that.
We're here for the public hearing and consideration of amendments to the Chester Municipal Planning Strategy to provide clarity on the public participation program that is undertaken for holding a public hearing related to the adoption of amendments of planning documents. The amendments also introduce new policies on engaging with the budding municipalities earlier in the approval process to allow meaningful input and opportunities for collaboration. Can you say the pledge probably before council?
Yes, I am, the Lord.
Overview by the planner.
Great. Good morning, everyone. So, so what we have today is basically a small package of amendments, as the deputy warden outlined there to sort of detail our public participation process and program, which is the same program that we've followed for the past number of years. And in addition, in response to Provincial Bill 58, we've also introduced some new policies within the same section in the planning strategy on public engagement that outline this requirement to provide early notice to abutting municipalities. In essence, what that is something that all municipalities will have to do. And the intent behind it is to provide notice to abutting municipalities earlier in the process with the understanding that that would allow for better and more meaningful feedback, input, or collaboration, however that may apply. Doesn't mean that there would be on each file, but it just gives the opportunity if, for example, it was something where there might be shared infrastructure or road networks that were going to need to be aligned and have those discussions behind the scenes. So in the planning strategy, in section 9, we've added those new policies, particularly on the early notice. Basically says that when council provides direction to staff, at that point we would send notice to the clerk of the abutting municipality, just to advise them that this is something that's being considered. And we've also within those policies set up a sort of a standard for who gets notified when. So it depends which community or GSA is impacted and which abutting municipality that relates to. So we've got a list, and that's all laid out in the policy. If it's by the service areas, we've listed those. So the District of Lunenburg has a list of these are all the communities that would justify notifying the District of Lunenburg and et cetera for our other neighbors. Other than that, our public participation program remains the same. We've just written it into policy here in terms of holding the public information meeting, the planning advisory committee meeting, and then to council for first and second reading, and the advertising that goes along with it. So just quickly an overview here. So this first came to council back in February 24th. We had a public information meeting on March 8th. We presented it to a joint meeting of the municipal and village planning advisory committees because it sort of affected both equally. So we met with them, both groups, on the 16th of March. They passed a motion in favor with a minor change that's now included, and that was just when that early notice gets given. So now we've tied it to when council directs it to staff, that's when the early notice goes out. Then it's been to first reading on March 31st. So I think that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Anyone from council have any questions? Presentation by developers, there is not initiated by staff and council. Any comments from the public, or if there have been anyone written anything?
Because I'm aware of.
No letters, nothing. Well, I guess we're down to the decision time. It's council satisfied. So they move, and there's no further questions. Second. Move to second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I hope we don't need to break that. I think we should be already moving on. Okay, everyone's ready. We're going to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. Approve the agenda and order of business. Any additions or anyone? If not, everyone will approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All those in in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Any public input? Jen? Nothing. Minutes of the previous meeting, April 7th, 2022, any changes, corrections? Anyone?
No, I'll move we approve the minutes. April 7th.
Moving second, discussion, all those in favor, opposed, motion carried. Any matters arising? 7.1, email from Trudy Flynn, Chair of the Board of Directors for Civil Militia. Thanks, pardon. Activated can requesting council's consideration to light the vessel building in purple on May 12th, 2022. We normally do that, and I'm not sure I'm gonna have to ask staff how we're gonna light the building purple. So can we do that, or?
We were counting on Councillor Connors to source purple lighting for us.
Done.
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 Really?
Okay, well, I've never been
Purple's her
She's a
favorite
purple
color.
Oh, I didn't even,
I thought there was an inside story.
There is.
I wasn't even sure what that was, quite honest, so I
She
really-
likes iron with the purple on.
But, so someone prepared for the next copy making. You know,
Have the lighting to do that, or?
well,
We would do our, if council directs, we would do our very best to track down, and I'm sure we'd be able to reach out to back to Trudy. Because I'm certain they would be aware of where you might be able to source.
We have to go and buy purple lights.
usually the purple spotlight match, you just put it up, the shine on the building.
So
Yeah,
it's similar to other events, like I know the Roche Strong last year, blue and different things.
So it's not a big deal then.
No, we have lit up for different,
Yes.
as Councillor Connors.
Yeah, and like you say,
for
if you
different
just get a
reasons.
couple of purple floodlights or
Yeah, just-
or some kind of gel that was over
Yeah.
it, just shine on the building.
Too operational for me, so do we want to do it or not?
Yeah.
Make the motion or not?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If
Possible.
Yes, please. I'll move.
Moved,
Second,
second, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carried, I'm moving right along there, 8.1. Yeah, cancellation of May 5th committee of the whole new conference being attended by some of the council. I know I'm not attending it anymore because of COVID, so I canceled, I don't know.
Because of what?
COVID, it's just.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
It's just
I'm
so,
not attending.
it's so rapid now that I just don't feel comfortable.
It's, yeah, I'll move that we cancel the COW meeting. Great.
So,
Second,
second,
moving second.
How many are going? Because if there's only. I'm not.
I was planning on attending.
I'm still going. I'm gonna go wear a mask though.
That we had discussion.
Or in discussion, that's what we're doing.
So,
Are you going to?
you know, oftentimes our community of the whole meetings aren't really full.
This one
This
doesn't.
is, for example, this one. Maybe we could schedule community of the whole meetings instead of having it on a fixed rotating basis. Maybe we could actually schedule it when we actually have items on the agenda rather than having the council cancel meetings that aren't required.
I think the rotation, just my opinion is, especially for someone like you, to know when they're gonna be, and Sharon has a sort of a regular, to be able to cancel them in advance, longer than 2 days in advance. That's,
Okay, well, I understand staff is going to be bringing some sort of something to us at some point to discuss this, so I guess we'll wait to have that discussion.
Anyway, so any more discussion on the cancellation of the whole?
That's good.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Can I go back to the conference question?
Yes.
I don't know if it was relevant. How many people are actually going? I know I heard a lot of people canceling.
Sharon is, I think.
Well, I was planning on going. What is the deadline to cancel?
April 24th.
So I'm going, Dan's going,
Um,
Alan will be going.
Alan, Sharon.
So the 4 weeks.
Yeah, I never, I think I'll still go. Even though you're not going, I think I'll still go.
Well, I was gonna go and I just thought about how many people. It's, to me, it's pretty hard to socialize and go to conference all day with a mask on.
Yeah.
And
I'm-
COVID is so rapid right now, in all my community, our daycares are shut down, it's just crazy.
I think, realistically, a social event. It's not like they'll go to that. I mean, I agree, the socializing, but I think from my perspective, I've been to one for a few years.
No.
Yeah.
And I just really want to hear the presentation.
Oh,
So I think I will still go unless I get COVID in the meantime.
Yeah, my experience when I first came on council, those first few conferences were some value, gave me a bit more perspective. I found that over a very short course of time, I found there was a bit of repetition
Yeah.
to it, and then my attendance, I don't know, it was far less value for me, so as time marched on, I wasn't, my interest declined.
I think that was important for the first couple of new councils, definitely go.
The couple of issues that I want to raise is why they're so silent on this tax issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also hope that maybe some cabinet ministers there, we can bend their ear, just because they've canceled a law amendment, you can't get there anymore.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm still upset by that. I just want to have my say with some of these people if I can corner them somewhere.
Thank you, yes, I actually, I'm certainly aware of COVID numbers, and that would have impacted my decision, but I wasn't actually intending on going from the start, I think, just with other commitments. But I did ask Pam, and she's checked, and there's no virtual component. I was hoping maybe for a hybrid, Zoom, maybe you could zoom in and take in some presentations at least and so on. But that being said, I find value in all of the conferences that I've attended, being here a few years now. For the greater part, I believe it's probably being able to network with other like-minded councillors from across the province and looking to them in terms of replicating success, if you will, and in terms of maybe some hidden nuggets of information around, basic community projects, festivals and events, infrastructure, and so on. And that's really where I am still able to do that, because obviously you pick up the phone once you've established those relationships. So that's where, I glean a lot of my information is just from others that are doing well from one end of the province to the other, because there are certain pockets of areas that if you pick up the Chronicle Herald or watch the news and so on, and then I just reach out and I find out some success. So that's all.
But yeah, it would have been nice, like you say, Tina, to be able to zoom in like it's the technology, right? That would have been like a hybrid model.
Yeah.
You could just, they could have, but I guess they wanted, anyway, doesn't
And
matter.
actually, that being said, is there something preventing us maybe from asking if they are taping those presentations? And because we pay a membership, I think, in NSFM, and those presentations, if they're of value, and I'm sure they are, they should and could be taped, recorded, I guess is a better word than taped, recorded, and uploaded onto the website and so on. So that should be capable in this day and age, I would think. Of
Live
technology.
streamed in some way.
Yeah, we don't have to be able to, participate at the time, but we can go on and,
We'll assign council Wells and then report back to council.
can we check into that though too as well, in addition to
Yeah.
Eric?
You can certainly ask.
Thanks,
Well,
yeah,
And if it is, we'll make sure it's made available.
okay, yeah,
Dan and I will give you a fulsome report.
There we go. We'll arrange that.
I'd love to see that.
Dan is going to be serving breakfast each morning.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I think this is record time for 2 meetings, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, discussion, all those in favor,